Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. If you noticed the date on this video being uploaded, May 2nd, 2021, you'd be interested to know this date marks the 5th anniversary of The Loud House making its debut on Nickelodeon back in 2016. In honor of this milestone, I thought it would only be appropriate to review not only the official premiere episode of the series, but also what I consider the second greatest episode of the series overall. Today's episode is titled Left in the Dark. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into the official pilot episode of The Loud House. The episode begins with Lincoln Loud speaking to the audience, something he does throughout the series going forward, by telling them he wants to watch what he considers the greatest show ever, ARG. But he explains that because he lives in a house with 10 sisters, fighting over who gets the TV remote is something he wants to avoid. He devises a plan to keep his sisters distracted from going downstairs, but just when he thinks he got the upper hand, his spooky little sister Lucy is already on the couch ready to watch her favorite show, Vampires of Melancholia. Even though the house rule is whoever gets to the TV first gets ownership of the remote, Lincoln persuades Lucy to watch her show on an old black and white TV. However, plugging it in causes a blackout in the house, and everyone gets mad at Lincoln, and rightly so. When Luann starts making jokes about the situation, Lisa gives her a cookie and she begins glowing in the dark. Lori, taking charge of her siblings, plans to use Luann to light the way down to the basement to flip the circuit breaker. But before they can head down, Luann's glow suddenly disappears and Lisa doesn't have any more of her Glowio cookies to give her. They hear a noise coming from the basement, and Lincoln's sisters begin fighting among themselves while Lola and Lana tremble in fear. Their brother steps up and says he'll protect everyone by going down into the basement himself. His sisters tag along, and when they hear strange sounds and smell some pungent odors, Lincoln reassures them that there's nothing to be afraid of. However, they see and hear something that sounds like an actual ghost, and Lincoln goes in to attack it. But when the lights come back on, it turns out Lincoln was just fighting a pile of laundry. He then races upstairs to claim ownership of the TV, but his show is already over when he gets there. Feeling sorry for their brother, his sisters decide to play the video Lincoln recorded down in the basement as if it were his own version of ARG. The episode ends with Lincoln saying, sometimes it's not about being at the TV first, it's about being there together with everyone in the family. Even Lucy. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. You know, I'll be honest when I say I had very little expectation going into the first episode of the series, given Nickelodeon's long track record at the time of producing a lot of underwhelming shows. The original promos prior to the first week of premieres, including footage from this episode, didn't really leave me impressed, and I was originally dismissive of the show's premise when I first heard about it. However, I still gave the first week a fair chance to prove itself, and after watching this episode and the ones that followed during that same week, I'm very glad my opinion on the show changed for the better. For The Loud House, this pilot accurately sums up the central idea of what viewers can expect from the show. One boy living in a household of 5 older sisters and 5 younger sisters while trying to survive the chaotic nature of the house. Lincoln comes off as your average, everyday kid with not too much that makes him stand out. And as the main character of the series, being portrayed as normal is just commonplace for someone like him. His sisters, on the other hand, display more identifiable character traits. Lori as the oldest sibling who loves talking on the phone and taking charge, Lenny being a stereotypical dumb blonde, Luann as a comedian, Luna as a passionate rock and roll musician, Lynn with a love for sports, Lucy embracing a goth persona, the twins Lola and Lana with one being a pink-loving princess and the other being an animal-loving tomboy, Lisa as a child genius, and Lily as, well, just a baby. Some can say with having this many characters in the main cast, it's bound to create a scenario where one or more characters get overshadowed by others, or in the case of the main character Lincoln, the show would mostly focus on him while his sisters have little to no development in their personalities. In some cases, you'd be right, given how most episodes of the first season feature Lincoln in the lead role. However, some of his leads are shared with other characters, and only a small handful of episodes have someone other than him in the starring role. Most of the time he shares the lead with his best friend Clyde, who, much like Lincoln, doesn't have too much of a personality in this episode. But just like Lincoln's sisters, we get a glimpse into how he will be presented in future episodes when his character becomes more developed. In his case, he has a huge crush on Lincoln's sister Lori, which causes him to turn into a robot whenever he gets close to her. Not only are the characters not overly complicated or mysterious in personality or trying to be more than what they are, the story is pretty much the same way. Nothing in the pilot goes up and beyond any expectation of what the show is about. The introductions to each character were basic, the story was easy to follow, and it had just enough material to present a colorful and relatable cast of kids with a story that doesn't have to pull out all the stops just to get viewers interested in future episodes. It's this kind of simplicity that makes the first few episodes of the series worth watching, and for someone like me, I was instantly hooked for life following the first 5 episodes. The first 5 being my personal rule for whether I choose to continue watching any show. Along with a few pop culture references and its comic strip style of animation, it really grabs your attention. Speaking of grabbing attention, you probably noticed how this pilot, made in 2015, is animated in the same manner of the original Bathroom Break short released back in 2013. It's the only other time you'll see darker and bolder colors on characters and their clothes, such as Lisa, Lola, and Lenny, and more specifically seeing Lucy's hairstyle look a little different moving forward. But don't worry, unlike Lincoln and his other siblings, we won't forget about Lucy. Well, at least not until a certain episode in season 2, but you know what I mean. Overall, this episode does an excellent job of demonstrating what kind of show The Loud House is about, and what viewers can look forward to with its characters and stories that we've all experienced at some point. With me growing up with an older brother, it's no surprise how much I can relate to characters like Lincoln, but I can just as easily relate to any of his sisters, since some of their personalities and their defining character traits, both the ones presented here and the ones we later see in future episodes, are a part of who I am as well. As I said, when kept simple and not over the top right off the bat, this pilot has just enough to spark an interest in what's to come next, and I can safely say that as of 2021, it still holds the number 2 spot for best episode of the series overall. Your results may vary, but that's up to you. With that said, I give Left in the Dark a perfect 10 out of 10. Well, folks, that concludes my review of the pilot episode, Left in the Dark. When it comes to episodes that reinforce the central premise of the show, and they present typical day-by-day conflicts that many of us experienced growing up with our siblings, it's no wonder I hold this episode in such high regard. There's only one episode that still, to this day, is even better than this one. But which episode am I talking about? Well, you'll just have to stick around and find out. In the meantime, here's to 5 years of the Loud House going strong, and here's to more good times yet to come. So, what did you guys think of the pilot? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.